Imagine losing both engines at 39,000 feet. No thrust, no second chance. Yet somehow, the aircraft remains under control.
The answer isn't another engine. It's a hidden emergency system that most passengers never see, and most pilots hope they'll never need.
From a powerless glide across the Atlantic to a remarkable landing on New York's Hudson River, this small device has helped crews face extraordinary emergencies. This is the Ram Air Turbine, or RAT. Hidden beneath modern airliners, it waits silently for the moment when everything else has failed. August 24, 2001, Air Transat Flight 236 carried 306 people across the Atlantic. Everything appeared normal until the aircraft began losing fuel. An incorrectly installed engine component allowed fuel to leak during the flight. At first, neither the crew nor the passengers realized the danger.
As fuel continued escaping, the right engine suddenly shut down. The crew immediately declared an emergency.
The pilots turned toward Lajes Air Base in the Azores, hoping the remaining engine would keep them airborne long enough to land safely.
Then the unimaginable happened. The second engine also lost power, leaving the aircraft without thrust over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. For the first time, the airliner became a giant glider. With no engine thrust, every decision the crew made would determine the outcome. With both engines silent, the Ram Air Turbine automatically deployed, supplying the emergency hydraulic and electrical power needed to keep the aircraft controllable. The Ram Air Turbine couldn't restart the engines, but it kept vital flight controls, hydraulic pressure, and essential cockpit instruments operating, giving the crew a fighting chance. The powerless airliner glided more than 120 kilometers toward Lajes Air Base, where one landing would determine the fate of everyone on board.
The Airbus A330 landed safely at Lajes Air Base. Several main landing gear tires burst on touchdown, but the crew kept the aircraft under control until it came to a complete stop.
All 306 people survived. The Ram Air Turbine didn't end the emergency, but it gave the crew the essential systems they needed to bring the aircraft safely back to Earth.
Without the Ram Air Turbine, the pilots would have lost much of the essential hydraulic and electrical power needed to control the aircraft. This small device became their last lifeline. Air Transat Flight 236 wasn't the only time a Ram Air Turbine proved its worth. 8 years later, another Airbus would face a completely different emergency.
On January 15, 2009, moments after takeoff, the aircraft flew into a flock of Canada geese. Both engines rapidly lost thrust. With both engines no longer producing usable thrust, the Ram Air Turbine deployed automatically, helping supply essential hydraulic and electrical power while the crew fought to control the aircraft. With both engines failing, Captain Chesley Sullenberger quickly realized no nearby runway could be reached. There was only one chance left. As the aircraft descended, the Ram Air Turbine continued supplying emergency hydraulic and electrical power, helping keep the flight controls responsive until the very end. The Airbus A320 touched down on the Hudson River with remarkable precision. The aircraft remained intact, giving everyone on board a chance to escape. Rescue boats reached the aircraft within minutes. All 155 people survived. Preparation, skill, and reliable systems make the difference. The Ram Air Turbine had already proven its value more than once, but nearly 2 decades earlier, another powerless airliner had already shown the world why this remarkable device was built.
On July 23, 1983, Air Canada Flight 143 departed Montreal for Edmonton. A fuel miscalculation left the Boeing 767 with no usable fuel.
One after the other, both engines flamed out. The Boeing 767 became a silent glider, descending from 41,000 feet with no engine thrust. Within seconds, the Ram Air Turbine deployed automatically, restoring essential hydraulic pressure and electrical power. Once again, this small device became the crew's last lifeline. The crew aimed for a former Air Force base at Gimli. Unknown to them, the runway had been converted into a motor racing circuit and was occupied by people that day.
The powerless Boeing 7760 touched down safely. Despite the extraordinary circumstances, everyone on board survived, and the aircraft became forever known as the Gimli glider.
Most passengers will never notice it. Most pilots will never use it. Yet in aviation's darkest moments, the Ram Air Turbine quietly keeps an aircraft alive. 3 emergencies. Crews, 1 remarkable backup system. When every engine falls silent, the Ram Air Turbine may become the last lifeline between disaster and survival.